Today on Faithfully Fantasy.
Trust me, we have a lot of things to say.
We learn Xaden is a shadow wielder. He can control the motherfucking shadows.
Rebecca Yarros with this guy just giving like everything. Yeah, tall, muscly, really handsome. Like somebody was
What's
like
his flaw? Give this man a flaw.
The dragon, yeah, he got the baddest dragon and the whole kingdom. Now, like the second night, yeah, he's a shadow wielder.
Are you getting jealous?
I think there's gonna be a time that he and Violet is going to be together at some point. He going to take the trousers off and then she's going to say, I saw that 12 inches cock. And it's going to be like, oh, really? Come on. Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things fantasy fiction.
Join us as I'll be going to my first read-through of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Today we're gonna be through chapters 6 to 10 and trust me, we have a lot of things to say.
Yeah, I thought we wouldn't have a lot to talk about. When I first read 6 to 10 again, I thought, I just can't wait to get to a particular bit. But turns out there's quite a lot for us to talk about. So as usual, we will start with a quick recap of what happens in chapter 6 to 10 of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and then we'll dive deeper into your first reaction.
Yes, perfect. Let's do this.
Okay, so firstly, we should do a bit of a previously on. If you remember, chapter 5 ended with Imogen breaking Violet's arm.
Yes.
Okay, so we pick right up from the macabre sound of snapping bone as Dane carries Violet across the covered stone tunnel to the healer's quadrant. Turns out there was actually an alternative route to the parapet. That death trap. So Dane tries his hardest to convince Winifred and her mender husband not to fix Violet's arm, but to sneak her out into the scribe quadrant. Nolan mends her anyway.
Yes.
And Violet gets back to the dorm and finds that Mira has bribed a scribe to sneak a little something into the Riders' Quadrant, the Book of Brennan. This is Violet's brother's How to Survive the Riders' Quadrant for Dummies, a book where she learns the professors decide sparring partnerships before the event to weed out the weak, which is weird, and exactly where to find that list. She knows how to survive the mad. She sneaks out to collect Fonnelly berries to poison her opponent before the match, but just when she's about to head back to the fortress, she spots Xaden and Imogen. They've gathered all the marked ones in a little support group on how to survive. They obviously don't have a copy of Brennan's book. Zaddy Daddy promises the marked ones that he will handle Violet when the time is right, but he knows she's there all along, hiding in the shadows. Wink, wink. He lurks out of sight until she feels safe to come down from the tree. We learn Xaden is a shadow wielder. He can control the motherfucking shadows. She will keep his little care club a secret, and he owes her a favour. We get hands down the best class where Professor Kaori, a rider who can project illusions, introduces the cadets to various breeds of dragon. More on this later, but for now we learn that there are different colours and different tails. Each colour has different quirks, and the cadets must learn to recognise, respect, or fucking run. We learn more about Segale, who doesn't give a shit about dragon rules, and the massive black dragon who's refused to bond since his previous rider was killed, trying to resurrect Violet's brother. We're back on the mat, and Violet's luck as Poison Master Extraordinaire, which has seen her defeat multiple opponents, is about to run out. Her latest opponent got sick too early and didn't make it to the sparring match, but no matter, there's a willing volunteer. Xaden Riorson enters the mat. It's hot, but also helpful. He naturally wipes the floor with her, but gives her just the right amount of tuition and advice to wake her up to the realities of what she needs to do to be a rider. Xaden calls out Dane for giving her too much protection and not enough tuition. Later that evening, Violet finally sees that Dane is holding her back. Chapter 10, and the cadets are standing at the bottom of the cliff leading up to the flight field, looking up at the mother of all ninja warrior courses that stands between them and presentation, which is the day they get up close with the dragons. Yep. Tynan accuses Violet of sleeping with their squad leader, Ree puts him right, telling him that Dane's dad is Violet's mum's trusty advisor. Sawyer, the repeat cadet who was passed over at threshing, makes his way up the course with a near-perfect run. Billy Big Balls Tynan gets stuck on the big balls and he has to climb down. We get another Dylan moment when Aurelie, the cadet most excited by the course, only makes it to the rolling logs when she gets distracted by a green dragon flying overhead. Violet can't save her as she slips between the logs and falls down the side of a cliff. Spoiler. What about Violet? Well, she's too short to climb the chimney and has to descend. Violet takes Aurelie's pack up to the burn pit, but on the way back down she bumps into Xaden, coming back from God only knows where after curfew. Violet doesn't care yet. She tells him she's considering running away. He already knows of Dane's plan to sneak her out to the scribe quadrant, because shadows. Hope is the worst thing about this place. It makes her think she can survive. Xaden leaves her with the advice she needs to make it up the gauntlet. The right way isn't the only way, but will she make it?
Yeah, again, really good summary.
I'm sure I missed loads, but...
No, but we're going to catch on every single one when we're going through chapter to chapter. So, anything else to add to your summary?
No,
Any
did I miss something?
No, I think you highlight the main story. Yes. So, should we jump to chapter 6 straight away?
Yeah, what did you think?
Okay, so when I was reading this, there was a couple of things that I had to confess that it makes me feel that I'm not completely believe in Basquiat as a proper real place or a place that it will exist, because the stuff they say again, the stuff that they do is just doesn't make any sense for me at the moment. Yeah. So one of the things when I learned in chapter 6 when Violet went to be manned, and she tells us that Brennan, he was an amender as well. That was his signet, and it's really rare, and it's something that is really important for for the school or for war, because it's really useful and really rare. So my question was okay, if his signet was so important, why he was on the front of the battle, or why he died in the battle when he should be maybe just as a backup, helping those one that were nearly dead, or hopefully I don't know.
He was.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was about to say as well. I don't know that many details about how he died. The only thing I know so far is in this rebellion, he died. Trying to defend Navaria, and there's no more details. So I don't know if he was in the front. I don't know if he was fighting, or he was there trying to heal all the people,
you have
the
medics
colleagues
on the front line, though. If you think of him like a medic, or maybe he was trying to because they don't just mend people, they mend things as well. So maybe he was trying to mend something else, or you do get medics on the front line.
Yeah, but they're still basically in a kind of safe place. So they're in a place when they can heal. They can have maybe surrendered by the other people, and so it's not completely in the front line.
He might have been. He might have gone to save somebody else. You never.
Yeah, that's one of the things that if he was so important, or the signal was so important, what he was doing there to the point that he died in the battle. So that was one of the first things that I was okay, this is weird. If he was so important, how this happened.
I think we'll find more about Brennan's death battle throughout the 5 books.
Yes. So I think this chapter is really focused, at least for me, about they give a more story about Brennan. So the first thing we learned the signet, and then this book appears in Violet's pillow, because Mira is naked, and the book, so she can have opportunity. And we had this book when is on Brennan, explain to Mira how to survive, and that was in the perfect timing for Violet. It's something that she really needed. And it comes in the right time, but I think this book is something else as well that we find out later on. At least for me, it's like, okay, this book might say more about Brennan, so that we don't know in this book, and there might be like give us a little bit more keys about who actually was Brennan, how he's doing, and like more secrets about his life before he dies. So that's kind of
I'm
like
just smiling. I'm not giving
you can't say
anything
anything.
away. I can't say anything.
Yeah, but that was like my takeaways. Okay, chapter 6 like giving us a little bit more about Violet's brother.
He was virtually in every chapter, wasn't he? Because they talked about the bit. So he was in chapter 6 when she found the book. I can't remember if he was in chapter 7. Oh yeah, Xaden mentions him under the tree.
Yes.
And then he was in chapter 8 in Kaori's class when they talk about Naolin.
Yes.
So the Black Dragon's former rider. And
then chapter 9 and the fight. No, I don't think
I
there's
don't think he was in chapter 9, but in chapter 10, the epigraph at the beginning of the chapter is part of his book. So yeah, you're right, he is a massive part of this chunk of chapters.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for you to get further in the book.
Yeah, but yeah, so for like from chapter 6, that's what my takeaway was like, okay, like they give us a little bit more information about Brennan. And I found it like really interesting about the book because in the beginning I wasn't sure if I was like, okay, it's kind of like a book or it's kind of like a journey or like a diary, because we want to find out more about like the reasons about how he died or why he died, stuff like that. But in the end I started to say, well, it's more like an instruction for survival, so probably there won't be like personal thoughts about what he's doing. Let's going to say in the background. So it's more about how to survive the test or what you need to do to pass everything as a rider.
Yeah.
But I still think that okay, this might be something else. There's no like the guy for Violet to survive in.
Yeah. So there's a few things about that I kind of thought were interesting. Brennan was obviously intelligent and he wrote a book. And that kind of makes me feel like he was also like his dad. They always say that he was a rider and he was like Mira is basically her mum.
Yes.
Violet's kind of a mix of both of them. But Brennan also obviously is quite like his dad. He was able to write a book, so that's more scribe-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite interesting. Kaori says he is a brilliant strategist as well.
Yeah, I think that has been mentioned in previous chapters as well, that he was really good doing the strategies. That one, I think, might be one of the reasons that the mother was always like, she was basically her favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, because maybe he was like his dad as well. I've got some more things from chapter 6, so you...
yeah, I think I'm down for my takeaways.
So, the painkiller, it's really funny. I love reading that chapter where she starts slowing. So I was like, Saib, lend me. It's really, really funny in the audiobook.
Yes, because that's the other thing. We listen to the audiobook, and then after we have like the main concepts and everything, they start reading it. And then when we read them, we start to take our notes. So all the detail that we might miss in the audiobook, we have in the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found it really funny as well.
It's really funny. What is that painkiller? Is it kind of like a general anaesthetic, or it can't be general because it doesn't knock out?
I don't know, but I think that's more like something that you will find in the dentist. It's not something that you will find out.
What's that video with the kid in the car? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I find it funny because she's supposed to be kind of like drug, but at the same time she was more like numb. Like she can't like move the tongue or something.
One of my arms isn't working, and the other's really heavy. It's really funny. Nolan really obviously cares about Violet as well, and I don't know why. Like, I feel like there's something. I know there's a bit of a clue to that later in the book, or it might be an iron flame, but there's never really a concrete reason why Nolan would care so much about Violet. Obviously they're friends, and Winifred said she tried to convince the General Sorengale to not put Violet in with the riders, but so they're obviously friends. I feel like there was dinner parties and stuff.
Well, I think it's as well because obviously Violet, she had this condition that makes her so fragile. So when she got meant for her, it's not the first time. So I'm guessing that's just because maybe Nolan, I don't know if he's the only one. So far,
it's really rare though, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know if he's the only one right now that can have that sickness, or if it's more like around the kingdom. But at least in Basgard, like, he's the guy who has this sickness. So I don't know if he's like, over the years, he's been meant constantly Violet.
Yeah, but why? He must, like, either he thinks that the general, like, he's trying to get the favour of the general, or, like, there's all these riders getting injured left, right and centre. Why should he worry about like this?
I guess just because he knows that she shouldn't be there, so maybe he cared more about her.
Yeah, but also, like, any decent person would mend a kid, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, if you're like a doctor, you care about the people that you want to heal. But that's another question that just right now come to my mind. Like, okay, she's fragile, so let's go to say that she can break the bones really easily, and then they're gonna mend by this sickness. When they can mend, that means that it's coming back to the original stage, even when she had this weird condition, or actually it's like completely full. I meant like that condition is not that bone anymore.
It would go to the
so you like
normal state, the normal state that it is. The only other thing I wanted to say, which I already said, but I thought it would be quite funny if Dane had to carry her back across the parapet to get to the Heavis quadrant, but luckily there's this covered stone tunnel at ground level. That
conveniently is there.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare if you had to, like, paddle across. Yeah,
it's so stiff.
That would have been better in the TV series adaptation, though, if they had to go across. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Chapter 7?
Okay, so chapter 7. So, we know now that Violet had this journey from Brennan and tells everything. So she found out as well how the match are arranged. So she takes advantage about this. That now she knows who is going to be the one who's going to fight and the next time, so she can prepare about it. And the first thing that comes to her mind is get some stuff from the forest, I guess. She's looking for these like purple berries. If I pick them the right time and treat them in the right conditions, it could be poisonous. So that's how she going out, and by accident she find Xaden, Amagini, or the one with the mark having this club. So I found that really interesting because really the first thought when I started reading this, that like all the one with the marks, they were like getting together, and there was a rule. A rule or a law that no more than 3 could be together, no more than 3 with a mark. Otherwise, it could be taken as a conspiracy, and then they could
die.
Yeah, they could be executed. So I was like, okay, so this looks like pure conspiracy. They're trying to maybe have revenge. They're like planning something together. But then when they start to talk about like, okay, how can we help you? What do you need? And so like, so actually it's like a support group. And that just refers like this picture that I have with Xaden, because I said before, Maybe one of the reasons they say that doesn't kill Violet is because he can see that she shouldn't be there, but she's there because she may be being forced because her mom. So I thought he might be feel like reflected. They're like, okay, they are in the same situation. They're doing something that they've been forced to do, and they had to go through all of that, like it or not. So when I saw this, it was like, yeah, so he's this kind of guy that he likes to help people. He likes to help all the people that actually want to have help.
He doesn't want to help the people that want to run away.
No, so in that, I think that's fair enough. Because
It is fair enough, but if you think about later in chapter 10, when Violet wants to run away, he gets a bit like arsey about it. He says, right, so now you just see one person die and you want to run away like a baby kind of thing. But he still tells her the right way isn't the only way. So he's still giving her advice, which is a little bit in contrast to what he does to that poor kid that just is like, I don't want to be here anymore, I just want to go home. It's totally understandable. He's forced to be in there. He just wants to go home. Like, that's a valid feeling.
Yeah, true. But I found that like, okay, if you're not going to help yourself, I can't do anything else for you because I can't just go behind you, holding you, or like physically help you. So it has to be from you. You need to like mentally be like prepared that you have to do it by your own. Yeah. So that's like, okay, so I agree with him. If you don't want to help yourself, there's nothing else that we can do because it's hard already, even if you had the right mindset. If you don't have it, then what you're going to do? Just die.
Yeah.
You're not going to graduate, so just die.
So mean.
Yes, but then we found out, well, there are like 41 riders with a mark. And so the senior riders are helping the new ones because obviously every single one with the mark has to go to the rider, like, I don't know, that's the punishment from the children of the one that caused the rebellion. Then we found out as well.
You think it's a punishment?
Well, it's a punishment because they think they're gonna die because try to be a rider is so hard.
That's all.
Therefore, there's like a death sentence.
We'll come back to it later.
Well, I mean, it's a punishment if you planning like you want to be a scribe or you want to be like infantry or you want to be something else because maybe you think, no, there's no way that I can be a rider because physically I'm not capable, and somebody say, oh well, you have to do it, so sorry, no sorry.
Yeah, I get it, but there is a different perspective that you might have later.
Yes. And then we found out as well that Xaden, he knew exactly where Violet was hiding all this time because he commands shadows. He's a shadow wielder.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I wasn't like completely sure like exactly what does it mean. For me, it was like, okay, does it mean that like the shadows told to him, tell like, oh, Violet's hiding in the tree or something, like ghosts, like whisper in the ear. But turns out it's kind of like these things can actually interact with physical objects as well, which make it like, yeah, he can kill anyone really
he's
easily.
so powerful, isn't he?
Yes. It's just like, I mean, Rebecca Yarros with this guy just giving like everything. So when you start to in the beginning like physical, like tall, muscly, really handsome, like somebody was
What's
like
his flaw? Give this man a flaw.
and then it's like and then like the dragon, he got the baddest dragon and the whole kingdom, the raiders one. No, but it's like it's like the only blue one of the kind of dragon they have, and she chose him. That's another thing I need to talk later on. And now, like the second night, he's a shadow wielder.
Are you getting jealous?
I mean, it's honestly like, like she like put everything onto this guy. Like, there's nothing wrong with this guy.
He's got some flaws. He's got some flaws.
I don't know because I think there's gonna be a time that he I can see it coming. He and Violet is going to be together at some point. he going to take the trousers off, and then she going to say, I saw that 12 inches cock. And it's going to be like, oh, really? Come on. So it's just like...
This one, we didn't do the content warning. You should put that in at the beginning.
Yeah, okay, I still like it. It's still badass, I have to say it. But back to now the main topic.
I'm done. I didn't realise you'd be jealous of Zaddy Daddy.
Well, I'm not jealous, but it's like, come on, give it the fact, or give it something back.
He has got some flaws.
Yeah. Anyway, so where I was, I am. So my first thought about this, he was helping the one they needed. They found out Violet. She was doing other stuff because he's a shadow wheeler. I think he knew she was taking these purple berries. But then Violet, he was like so afraid that he was like in the right place just to kill her, just using the shadows. He doesn't have to even do anything physically. He can just kill her with his
And then he
signet.
could hide the body. Like, honestly, no one would even know that he did it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
He's insanely powerful. I
no
don't know.
DNA, no fingerprints, anything to relate it to.
Do you think the shadows have... Because they, like, pick the daggers out of the tree. Do you think they have fingerprints?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing he couldn't do with that. I mean, there's lots of stuff he couldn't do, but he could do all sorts of stuff. Like, that would make your life so much easier. But can he do it on a sunny day? There's no shadow. Can he only do it if the shadows are there?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that she asked to Violet when she found out, like, didn't warn you, they don't meet me in the dark or something like that. So I'm assuming that because the shadows only works when there's shadows.
But there's shadows all the time. So, like, if the sun is out, you just go behind a tree, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but if you're in the middle of a sunny day, the only shadow that you have is yours. But the thing is, I don't know what happened to the shadow. Like, if I'm in the middle of the field and I have only my shadow on the floor, can the shadow get bigger, or can the shadow...
Yeah, but there'll be
something?
trees and stuff. But at night time...
Yeah, at night time everything's surrounded by shadows.
But is it shadow? Wait.
Well,
that's
it's
just
in the
no
dark.
light. Do you only have shadow when there's light?
Well, he come on shadow, so
that's like
a philosophical question.
Is there only shadow when there's light? I
There's
think
shadows
there
in the
is.
dark.
Otherwise, it's just dark.
Yeah,
I don't think there's shadows in the dark. So I'd be like less scared of him in the dark.
yeah. So, yeah, that's another good
I
question.
don't know. Well, that's one for someone more intelligent than me.
Yeah, but then we found out as well that we found out now, I think this is maybe one of the opportunities when she actually showed us that she's really good at throwing daggers, because she threw two around Xaden's head and he said, like, you missed. But actually, it was kind of like a warning, because when he go backwards and then he see yes, the dagger was right there. So like, fascinating.
Yeah, she is actually really good with daggers.
So yeah, and the first thing that he said, like, she should do that against Jack Barlow, because he knows that Jack Barlow is a pain in the ass for her.
Jack Barlow, that's what we were calling him.
Yes, Twat Barlow. And she's kind of like the weakest link of the wing. At least Twat Barlow is constantly like saying that as well. So it's kind of like he's pushing her. Like, you need to do something. You are good. Like, you can use this little trick, and then you can defend yourself as well. And he plays a little bit with her as well. Like, okay, I'm not going to kill you today, but he actually is like. He said, like, he's kind of like the feeling that I had, like he just followed this bad guy role that she gave him. So he just playing with that, because she's constantly, you're gonna kill me, and then, not tonight. Well, not today. It's not fun if I just see it coming. but once he knew that she won't tell to anybody about the club, because I think he can see as well that for her it's like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
They're just helping, so there's nothing wrong. So she kept the secret, and he said that he owns the one. Yeah, so those are my takeaways from chapter 7.
So why do you think that no more than 3 marked ones can meet?
I'm not sure if they're talking about like if we're talking about 3 riders with 3 dragons and they have marks. 3 dragons will be like enough to cause like chaos or a lot of damage if they just come together against all the other riders.
So you think it's just to avoid another, they think there's a risk that there's another rebellion?
Yes, because it's logical. They'll be marked. They're being punished to go to the riders against their will. So they kill the parents. So it's logical to think that these people will do something against them.
I know the answer. I'm just quizzing you to see if you already know the answer.
No, actually, in these chapters, I can't see like
No reason,
a reason
why not?
why. Yeah, it's just saying no more than 3, but doesn't say why 3, not 2 or 4.
There's a few things that I wanted to talk about. So I am obsessed with Xaden's family tree. And you get the first man, I haven't drawn it. I'm saying I'm obsessed, I haven't drawn it out yet, but I will.
Yeah.
And you get the first mention that Bodhi looks a lot like him. Bodhi's his cousin, inverted commas. We don't know yet, but I feel like, I don't know, he looks way too much like... Do you look like your cousins? You've got loads of cousins. No.
I can't look like cousin, no.
I don't look like any of my cousins, but I do look like my sister.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's something going on with Bodhi. Anyway, but...
it could be like half brother or
I feel
something.
like it, but we don't find out even in Iron Flame. That's why I'm saying it now. And, like, I don't really know what the balance is between saying stuff we don't know and saying I know something that you don't, you know, like being that I know something you don't know kind of annoying person. But there is stuff that I just really want to know, and I want to talk to you about it to see what your thinking is. But I don't know, I could be totally wrong. Then there was another bit where about the marked ones grouping together. So I don't know if it was a mistake or a plot hole or something that just went past, but Xaden says something like, don't you know it's an offence for more than 3 marked ones to meet? And Violet says, yeah, I know, I've lived at Basgiath longer than you.
Yeah.
But surely they only put in the addendum when Xaden started.
Yeah.
Or when more than 3 started. So, because otherwise why would there be that rule if the marked ones weren't there?
Well, from the timeline when everything happens, we're talking about like the rebellion happened 5 years from the chapter between 6 or 10. But I think, what I'm not sure is like how long does it take like to prepare if you want to be a scribe, because she wanted to be a scribe before. So I don't know if you started from like really...
Well, she started from really young, but mostly because her dad was a scribe, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if she was like preparing and she was like constantly going to Basgiath to, I don't know, study, or they have maybe, I don't know if they had like something like preschool or primary or something, because this sounds more like you're going to university, but has to be something before
That's
that,
like
I think.
Military college, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know if maybe when she was 15, when the rebellion happened, she was studying to be a scribe and all this stuff. They came with this new role, and then because she was already studying, she knew about it.
Yeah, I would say they only did it when they started, because then they realised there might be a But anyway, maybe you're right.
When it happened was like, I think Xaden was, the first one of the first ones. So we're talking about maybe 3 years ago.
Because he's in the third year.
Yes, exactly. So
it's just a weird thing for her to say. I've lived at Basgaia for longer than you have.
Yeah.
But I feel like that rule would have come with Xaden. Anyway, the other thing I liked was that Xaden said, you should throw the daggers at Jack Barlow,
yes.
which is completely the opposite of what Dane, boring, wet blanket Dane.
Well, they had a completely opposite approach to.
He's like head down. Xaden's like throw a dagger at his face.
Yeah, I like more that style.
Yeah, Dane's just a bit. Oh my goodness, broken record, just constantly banging on about getting.
Yeah, but I think it's just because in this character, it was like he was convinced that she shouldn't be there. So maybe in his mind was like, no, try to be like invisible. So when I'm being able to take it away from here, put you in disguise, nobody will notice, or nobody will miss you, or nobody will say anything about it.
I didn't think of it like that. I kind of thought, but maybe, could be right. I feel like it's more that he thinks, he's so convinced that she's the liability. Yes. Because she's fragile. And he does say, like, he's really, really annoying about it. He later says, you're not a liability to me, but it's like he's digging himself out of a hole he just dug. And he basically, he obviously believes that she's weak.
That she know how basically chance to survive, either because of the test or because somebody will think that she is the weakest link.
Yeah, so they're going to kill her, and that's what I think he's telling her to keep her head down for, because he thinks that she's going to get killed, and he doesn't want her to get killed. I mean, all of it comes from a good place. He's concerned about her, but he doesn't see what she can do, and she survived that long, and she knows, like, Xaden hasn't killed her yet, so anyway, that's a bit later.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's it. We can pass to chapter 8. Okay, so chapter 8. Now, just starting chapter 8, we start to find out that Rihanna already has like a romance going on with Tara. We talk about like, okay, so we started already talking about like sex life for the cadets.
She's liked her from the first day as well, which is cool.
Yeah, so it was kind of like nice thing because obviously Violet knew that Rihanna was like completely into Tara from the beginning, and then it was like she was like so happy. So you can tell that like friend happy because the friend got something.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then we had like the Professor Kaori class. And he had this amazing thing that is projecting with his mind. Projecting everything that is in his mind.
I'd love that, but I can't even see images in my head, let alone
yeah, I
images
still think that's really weird.
What's it called? Aphantasia. Is that what it's called?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm one of those people that just can't see. If I close my eyes and you tell me to picture an apple, I can't. I know exactly what an apple looks like. I know exactly what Xaden looks like in my head, but I don't know why. My brain obviously just responds better to description rather than.
Yeah, you can't see that red apple there in your mind.
No. In fact, I was thinking of a green apple, but I can't see a green apple. My brain is like, this is what a green apple looks like. It's round.
It's green
and it's green and it's an apple.
Yeah. Okay, so we learn a little bit more about the dragons, which we had like a few. They're talking about basically the special ones. Starting at maybe Sagel. She is like one of the most powerful dragons. She does whatever she wants. And something that really caught my attention straight away, that she doesn't follow rules. One of the rules is that they're not allowed to bond again with a relative from the previous rider. And she didn't care about it. She did it anyway, which means like, okay, so the previous rider is related to Xaden.
This is why I'm so obsessed with the family tree. I think I know who it is, but only after reading Iron Flame.
Yeah.
Because there's certain people you rule out.
For me, like the first thought that came to my mind was like his dad. His dad was like the previous rider. I don't know if at some point we will find out what kind of dragon his father had, but for me, like relative, has to be maybe the dad, and that's why it was like, no, she shouldn't choose him again because all the stuff that the dad did, and she didn't care. She did as well, so it's kind of like repeating the same story.
Like I said, we don't know who it is, but we do know who it isn't.
Okay.
So, it could be. Let's find out.
Well, the thing is, it has to be relative to say that. So it could be a dad, could be a mom, could be somebody that's part of the Xaden's family. That's the thing that I found really interesting. And why the girl wants to choose him. So
you find out by the end of Iron Flame, you find out what the relation is.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I might have said too much. I will stop now. I'm going to stop now.
Okay, so because as well obsessed with like data. Some of the data they gave us is that for this current year they have only 100 dragons willing to bond with the new cadets, and that might change if the dragon don't like what they see. And straight away barely think that okay, that's 37 less than the previous year, and in comparison with the previous one was 26 less, which is mean that okay, something's going on.
It's dropping really quickly, isn't it?
Yes, and my question was in this moment is like why? It's because maybe there's not enough dragons. There's something happening with the population of the dragons, and that's why there's not that many dragons. Or the population of dragons is still the same of the riders, because riders still come in every year, and it's like the same number of people that want to be riders. But then something's happening between the dragons that they don't want to bond with humans anymore. So for me, it's like, okay, why is this happening? That means there's change in the mind, and the mind don't see as well convenient anymore the relationship with humans, and they might want to go rogue, go by themselves, just dragons defending their stuff and not needing humans anymore. So it's like, if that's happening, then why? And then go back to the rebellion. Like something happened in the rebellion that made the dragons maybe change the mind as well, and that's something that I don't know if I'm going to talk about it right now or later on, because it's like one thing comes to the next one.
You're picking up so much from your first read through, and I know that's because you're reading it with the view that you have to talk about it. But I just chain read through all of this, and I never noticed half the stuff that you did.
Yeah, for me as well is because as an author, I know when you start to put in things, they're going to...
Seeds.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoky guns, is that what they call them, really?
Yeah, can do as well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like when I see something that it looks like random, for me, like, nah, that looks like too random for
You
people
didn't
random.
pick up one thing in the first chapter that will come back. Definitely shouldn't.
Okay.
Don't read it again, though.
No. I'm not saying that, I'm going to pick every single thing, because the author as well has his own ideas, and I might think that it's going for this way, but no, it's just deceived me and going to opposite direction.
Distraction.
Yes, exactly. But, okay, so if I keep going, then, I find it really interesting. The Navarre is getting attacked every single year, and there's there are more attacks, there's less riders. I don't know if it's because they're dying really quick as well, well, they die as well, like very often. And every year there's less riders as well, which means the rider section is getting smaller, and the one they are attacking, they might getting stronger as well. Because there's something in the says in one of the chapters, there could be the other people, they're getting stronger and they're getting weaker at the same time.
The wards are failing as well.
Yeah.
But why are they attacking? That's the big question.
Yes, that's a big one. So, what else we have? So, thinking about it, like, okay, going back to Xaden's relative, there was with a girl. I was thinking as well, okay, so when this rebellion happens, because I'm guessing there was mostly like riders against some of the population of the world, they were using dragons as well. It was like dragons against dragons fighting as well. Or it was just more like the people trying to overtake the general, just people with people. That's something that yeah, so it's something like, okay, because I know the dragon, like the main mission for them is defend their land. That's like
protect the veil, yeah.
Yeah, protect the veil, because that's pretty much like the only reason they accept this bonding with humans, because they're stronger together. Because when the dragon canalizes all the power through the human have the signal, and the signal could be really useful
Makes
in
it
battle.
more powerful, yeah.
Exactly. So I was thinking, if that's like the only reason that the dragons are like bonding with humans, why they want to be involved in a civil war? Because it's basically something's happening in their own city. And I found it like interesting as well. Like it's like
Some dragons support it and some dragons don't.
yeah, exactly. So I didn't know. Well, at this moment, I don't know if the rider can control completely the dragon. Like you have to do whatever I told you to do, even if you don't agree. But for the stuff that I'm reading, it's like no. There's like the dragon is half. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking like if the dragon is not agree, like to attack another dragon, why will do it unless there's a reason behind? And that's the part that
Maybe they're not attacking other dragons, though. You don't know.
I don't know yet. I guess there are not many like details.
They aren't.
Exactly. What else we have? So talking about all these kind of dragons in the class of Professor Kaori, we found out as well there's 2 black dragons. One of them is for the General Melgrin, yeah. And the other one was for a rider. He died. The rider is called Naolin. He was a rider that he died because he was trying to resurrect a rider that died in battle as well. Mm-hmm. And we found out that the rider that he was trying to resurrect was Brennan, Tyler's brother. And because at this point, I don't know if later on it's possible, but at this point that's impossible, bring somebody from the dead. He died, he gets consumed, and the dragon, he doesn't want to get bound anymore with anybody else. And that's been 5 years, and since then nobody has seen the dragon anymore. So this dragon, at this point, nobody knows what happened to this dragon. I guess he's still, I don't know, depressed after that.
Yeah, maybe. Do you think we'll see more of the big black dragon, or is that it?
I think that the dragon, it will come back, and it's gonna be like with somebody that we might not expect it. Because only Todd Barlow, he was like, oh, that's the one that I want. But for the stuff the other rider was doing, I don't think that Black Dragon will bond with somebody as a Jack Barlow, because I think Naolin was somebody that was like noble, somebody that was like caring about people.
I'm going to quiz you, actually. When we get to the point... God, we've still got so much to talk about. When we get to the point where we know a bit more about the dragons, I'm going to ask you what colour dragon you think Jack's going to get.
Okay. Right. What else we have? So we had the two Black Dragons. Now Linda trying to restore Brennan, and he also died. And I think that's like the takeaway from the Professor Cowrie class. And I still think there's something suspicious about Brennan's death, because, okay, I can think that maybe Naoli and Brennan were really good friends, and that's why he tried to resurrect it. But could be that good to the point that he Naoli knew that he more likely he will die.
Maybe he loved him. You don't know?
That's another option.
We don't know yet, but there's something, isn't there? You wouldn't do that unless you really cared about that person.
Yeah, kind of like if he's dead, then I don't want to live anymore. Like either I success, bring him back to life, or I'll die trying. But yeah, could be because they were lovers, or he was in love again, or Brennan knew or something really important, and he was trying to bring him back.
That's interesting.
There's another theory
that about that.
Yeah, because I started thinking that Brennan's death are really suspicious. But yeah, maybe he knew or he saw something that like crucial for the safety on a bear, and he was just trying to get that information back.
Yeah, we get very little more about Nailin than this, but I'm going to say it now. I'm not sure Nailin is dead.
Oh.
But we don't know.
I mean, they say that he died, but don't say anything what happened to the body.
Don't know. We don't know. We get very little more than that about him.
Okay.
I just think it's really suspicious.
Yes. Okay. So, Violet, after that class, he need to go to the mat, and they tell him the rival that he need to face it. He wants to kill her because he think that he is a liability for the wing, but she has already a plan going on, and basically she poisoned him and trying to make sure that by the time this poison start to be effective, it's going to be in the middle of the fight. And that's pretty much what happened. They start fighting, and then she managed to like avoid get damaged by this guy, and then this guy just is fighting against him, and is fighting against to not being sick in the mat, which is not really sexual about it, because he pretty much he put everything from breakfast to that moment in the mat, and he'd been forced to yield. And she wins. That's like the first fight she wins, and she's still doing this let's go to say technique that is just poisoning the guy that she need to face him before the fight. This happened multiple times until one day the one day she need to face him get like sick before they go into the mat, and then because she had nobody else to face there, Xaden is volunteer to fight against her in the mat. And this another thing that I was thinking about, like, okay, what she's doing it's completely cheating. You can't tell it like any other way. You can't say this is strategy. She say like, no, I'm just being clever. Now you're cheating. Because what you're doing is you're reducing the strength or the capacity to your rival to fight, so you can have an easy win.
So is wearing the dragon armor, the dragon scale armor underneath, is that cheating as well?
I mean, they know she's wearing that.
No, they don't.
I thought they knew.
No, it's a secret. Nobody
Okay.
knows about the Dragon's Tail armour.
Yeah. Okay.
So Mira says at the beginning there's no such thing as cheating. There's only surviving.
Yeah.
So I tend to think it's not cheating.
I mean, I understand that. For example, when you are in war, yeah, there's no cheating. There's nothing. It's just like you kill or you get killed. I understand that, but this is training, and I think this is like the main reason that Xaden he went to the mud against her.
He does say, doesn't he? If you're not testing yourself in here, then you're not going to get any better out there.
Yeah, and it's gonna be chapter 9, which we can start because I'm done with chapter 8.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say about chapter 8. Riddick's one of my favourite characters, and you start to get to know him a bit better. He's kind of a bit of a joker. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's the one that's like being loud in Kaori's class. I just really love Riddick, and he becomes like quite a good friend, and I just really like him.
Okay. Right.
Sorry, I thought you already moved on to 9.
No, unless you have something else to say to in chapter 8, I can
I
jump to
just had
chapter 9.
also like they say that 100 is middle aged for a dragon, so dragons live 200 years. I thought that was quite interesting. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah, we learn about that other signet siphoning. It's quite cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay, so chapter 9. Chapter 9 is basically Violet and Xaden fighting. So it was really clear that Xaden was stronger and faster than her. That she was no rival for him. And he pretty much like take all the weapons that she was like throwing to him, because he wants to show her that when actually you're against somebody like an enemy, and you know how these tricks about poisoning, you have to do something. So during the fight, he was more like coaching. It's pretty much what he's doing, because there's a couple of things that he was like telling her what she need to think, what she need to do. And one of the things is that he said that you are small, and she was like, yeah, very aware about it. Then he was like, okay, then act like a small girl and don't try to export yourself too much or do other kind of things according to your size. So like just be aware of what you can do and you can do, and then use it properly.
Yeah, she's so used to people calling her small and weak that she's like instantly defensive, but he's not saying she's weak, he's saying she's small, so use moves that are like in line with her body shape or body type. And
Yes.
He's never criticizing her, but she obviously is so defensive because everyone else does, especially her best friend, again in inverted commas, Dane. Yeah, it's interesting the way that she takes it, because that's what she's used to hearing from other people.
Yes. So obviously during the fight, Xaden basically tell her that you can't just poison every single person that she needs to spar with. And then she was like, oh shit, he knows. Well, obviously he knows, because he said a couple of times there's nothing happening in Bulgaria that he is not aware about. He knows everything, pretty much. And yeah, he said that if she's still doing that, then she will never get better. And he's right, because one thing is like graduate, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have a long life as a writer just because you graduate. You can cheat when you want to pass the test and that kind of stuff, but in a real fight, in a real battle, then you have to use that training that you have to survive. And that's what she's doing. She's avoiding all that kind of stuff because she's not good at. But basically what he's saying is that, yeah, you're not good at, but you could be good if you train or just doing something appropriate for you. So he doesn't kill her. That's why he was she was thinking, or even Dan was thinking about when he saw that Xaden was going to the mat against her. But then Xaden, he gets like kind of like annoyed with Dan as well, because Dan is constantly like saying something, trying to stop the mat and the fight. He even, that was a comment to Violet, he's always like this with you, like so protective. And he said like, yeah, he just cares about me. And he like, no, he's holding you back. And that's true. That is something that he's been doing. He's trying to just like protect her, like put him in a shield so he can take it to the scribe, so nothing bad happened to her. But he's the one who like let it grow as a writer.
Yeah, there's like that's kind of common in relationships, isn't it? When somebody like is so protective and they think that's love, but actually love is thinking that your partner can do it and you're supportive of them, and
then you trust this person and you know that you can push because it could be better.
Yeah, take a risk. I'll be here if you fail, not like
no, don't take a risk.
Don't take a risk. Stay here because somebody might criticize you, or somebody, in this case, somebody might kill you. But yeah.
Yes, exactly. But and then by the end of the fight, Xaden wins. But he said to Dan that he needs to be more like an instructor and less protective with Violet, which I think as a wing leader, that's actually a fair point that he's having there. That he's like, he cares about the people, so they need to give him good training, good instructions. But then Dan take him badly because he only see the Xaden is just like a cat playing with the mouse. They're just playing, having fun before get bored and then kill her. So Dean arranged everything to take Violet out of the riders and send it to the scribes with a plan that even if Violet's mother, she find out that she is a scribe, by the time that she find out, it's gonna be too late even for her to change it. So he's doing all of this against her back, and this actually makes Violet really angry because she can see now that he is actually doesn't trust her as a writer. He thinks that she is weak. He thinks that she's liability for the wing.
Yeah, and then he pretends that he doesn't.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
only pretending he doesn't because he didn't realise he'd said that.
Yes. Yeah. So he said, no, it's just because there's stuff that you don't know that's going to happen. There's kind of like, it will come a time when the other people comes against you. They're going to have like all the right to kill you, and I can't do anything. The only thing I can do is just watching how they kill you. So he was like, please just think about it for me. I don't want to lose you, and blah, 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 blah. And well, she said that in the end she will think about it. Yes, and that will be for me my takeaway for this chapter.
So just like straight away on that piece, I think Dane cups her cheek at one point.
Yeah.
While he's saying it, he says he calls her a liability, and then he cups her cheek, which is what he has to do to read a recent memory. I don't think we ever get confirmation of like if he's done it then.
Yeah.
But
what he saw, if he did.
Yeah, it jumps out on the page at me when he cups her cheek, because I think, is he searching through her recent memories? I think we also get the first real talk of threshing. So Dane says they'll throw you in the training grounds. It's kind of fair game. There's more riders than dragons. That's when you get a dragon bond. So that's the bit that I'm like, I believe you'll be hooked to in this book after threshing. Mm-hmm. That's what happens to most people that I've heard talk about it, and definitely for me. And I think you'll want to know what happens next before the next episode before we've managed to record the episode. So we'll see how it goes. But the only other thing I wanted to say about chapter 9 is that's when we really start to see Violet feel something for Xaden. So she obviously finds him attractive, but she keeps kind of like saying he's an asshole, like afterwards, just to try and convince herself that she doesn't like him. But she also feels a bit of jealousy towards Imogen.
Yeah, actually, there's a point when she started to compare both of them, like the approach, because, and the like just what Dean will say, what Xaden will say, or what will do. So she's like now like try to compare it because both of them are like leaders, but maybe she thinks that Xaden is actually like better leader.
Yeah, Xaden's 100% a better leader. If you think about what you need in a leader, you need to be supportive of your team, and you need to kind of harness their strengths and
push them as well. Like I believe on you, but you need to believe in yourself. So come on, do it.
And he's not at all. He's just like diminishing her every chance that he gets.
Yeah.
Oh, Dane does my head in.
Yes. Okay. Anything else to add to chapter 9?
Oh, just a question.
Yeah.
Ree, at one point, when she beats Oren the first time when he's thrown up, she said, I was lucky. Violet said, I was lucky.
Yeah, because he got sick.
Yeah, and Ree says, I'd take being lucky over being good any day. Would you prefer to be lucky or good? I know lucky is like a choice. You can choose whether it was a lucky thing or not, but
I'd rather be good, because if you are good, you make your own luck as well. Because if you depend on your luck, it will kind of turn it will run out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how lucky you are, it will kind of turn you won't be at some point.
Yeah, so I always think that luck is like you can decide whether you were lucky or not. So say in the first one, Imogen broke Violet's arm. You could say Violet was unlucky that she had her arm broken, or you could say Violet was lucky she wasn't killed. So she can choose whether she was unlucky or lucky in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. It could be just like a point of view, depending on your mindset as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I would prefer to be good as well. I just wondered what you would say. I thought you'd say that, but it's a question.
Yeah.
Chapter 10?
Yeah, last chapter of today's episode, chapter 10. And this is going to be the gauntlet. Is it pronounced? The gauntlet?
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet. Yes, straight away, like, one of the first things that come was like Aurel is very excited about this because his father was a retired writer and been training for this for a long time, and like, oh my god, you're gonna die too.
I thought she would make it to the actual day. Well, I thought she'd get through the training.
Yeah.
She didn't even get through the first training session. We shouldn't laugh.
No,
Rest
it was
in peace, Orly.
Yeah, it was exactly like the Dean vibe, not Dean, Dylan vibe. But in this time, we're like, well, I know now how this Rebecca Yarros works. She will die like now. But yeah, it was like, okay, I don't think too many stuff will happen here, but yeah, it was the first ones did very well. But that's another thing that I was thinking about. Exactly when you graduate, when you pass all the tests and all the courses, or is when you bound to the dragon? Because I believe you have people that are repeating. So they went through all the stuff. They went to the dragon. They tried to bomb with the dragon, and the dragon was like, no, yeah.
Well, Xaden hasn't graduated yet, and he's in his third year, and he's got a dragon. So it's 3 years of...
Yeah, but I think it's kind of like graduation per year. So it's like, well, I don't know exactly, because I was thinking that once you get your dragon, then you will go to second year, or...
No, it's like a calendar year.
Okay.
Because then you've got the new people coming in. It's like a school year or a university.
Yeah, no, that's why I thought that the final test is bonding to the dragon. So you were like preparing to the full year, like physically, mentally.
Because then you've got to get your signet. You got to learn to control your signet.
And all of that's in third year.
Yeah, then you've got more history, battle brief.
Okay.
like all of that stuff.
Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, like the people that are repeating, they were because no dragon want to bond with them. So what happened then? So they went
They
through.
go home.
So they finished just straight away. Like, okay, you can't stay here anymore because you got no dragon. So
Yeah.
come back next year.
Yeah. So wait, there's another option: graduate, die, or come back next year.
Yeah, back next year.
They
you
don't need to change
have better
the
luck.
slogan. Graduate,
Yeah.
die.
Yes.
Graduate, try again, or
Yeah.
die, or something. Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, now here in the gauntlet. Gauntlet?
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet. Yeah.
I don't know how an American would say it. It might be easier for you if you learn how an American says it.
Gauntlet.
Because we say the T, gauntlet.
Yes. So, and this one was another test. There's like to make sure that every single rider is prepared to be in battle with a dragon, like be physically put into the test. They have to do a lot of things, and they still have enough energy or enough momentum to back to the dragon.
The dragon, yeah.
Yes. So, you know, we already did graduate or die. I was thinking when I finished this chapter, there's like, okay, I understand that it's dangerous because being a rider is fucking dangerous. Like a dragon can just burn you down or can eat you or whatever just because.
Yeah.
Straight away. That's something that you can't control. Like if there's a dragon, a wild dragon or whatever, it kill you. Well, they kill you. But this test, like the parapet or this one, why they had to do it in a way that if you don't pass, you had to die. It's like in the parapet, why there's not like a net or something if you fail, okay, come back next year. Because I think if you don't give it the chance to somebody that maybe it wasn't prepared, if I maybe give it another year, it will come back and then it's gonna be like a really good one. But it's like, no, you die. So you are bad luck, you die.
So there's a reason for it that you find out later. There's a reason why so many cadets die. I don't agree with that reason. And there is an alternative way that they could do. They could fall like that and then they could go into infantry. Like they're still really good, strong fighters.
Yeah, that's what I
Especially
mean.
at
There's
Harper
like
Hand.
you don't know like what's gonna be the skill of these people just because you didn't give them a second chance.
Yeah, there's not enough dragons. You got to remember, there's not enough dragons, but there's no reason why they couldn't have
No,
gone.
but that's the thing. That if you fail, you fail. Doesn't mean that okay then.
Still, like people numbers for the army, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly. If you in the end you run out of dragons because there are no more dragons that they want to bond with you, then why you don't have more infantry or
Yeah, go to the.
yeah, you need
Yeah.
people in the end. So that's the thing that's like
Yeah, so there is a reason that's stated, particularly for and Aurelie's death gets talked about again because of that reason. So it's really interesting that you've asked that question at that point because we do get an answer for that. I don't necessarily agree with that answer, but that is the answer.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's just I find it just weird.
Yeah, because if you think about the military, you don't get people dying in train. You might get accidents, and you might get people dying.
No,
on
that's what I
trains.
mean. The one thing is die because there's things that you can't control.
And an accident.
But come on, this test is like.
Yeah.
I understand. Like for example, in the Sea Navy, they had this test. They designed to break your mind and break you physically. Because that's like the test put you to the limits, so you can't over all this stuff. But they're not designed to kill you. It's
No.
like if you are not mentally prepared, physically prepared, you will fail, and then you have to come back this
Yeah.
year, or you just lose your opportunity if maybe you fail second time or whatever. But yeah, you fail. that's one thing. You failed the test, so you can't be Navy or you can't be a rider. But like the problem there for me is like they're protecting the kingdom, but they're not protecting the people. So
yeah,
like,
but you've got to think of it so that I don't want to spoil it. But Xaden in chapter 10 also says you're not a rider. I can't remember exactly what it says, but he says something like you're a rider because of what you do when somebody dies. Do you carry on or do you lose it? And that is going to be a real situation in battle. And you get a lot of people in the military, the awful things they have to see. These things traumatize people. Like, they traumatize people. All these cadets would need some serious mental health support. Like, awful. Anyway, but yeah, I get it. I get the reason that's stated, but I don't fully agree that it's the way to do it.
Cool. So go back to the test. So Aurelie, she's doing the test. There's some dragons flying above, and then she died, basically.
Bye.
Yes. So Violet, she didn't manage to pass the test neither. So she is sad. She now like properly thinking about Dean's offer about go to the scribes. Then she sees Xaden, Garrick, and Buddy. They were out somewhere with the dragons. And they're talking about there's something that they can do, but at the same time, it's like, well, there's nothing that we can do. Obviously, something going on, but she's in this moment that she's depressed, so she doesn't care. She knows as well that Xaden know that she is there because she's like hiding in the shadows, so there's nothing that she can do. Once Xaden kind of like give it that sign as well that she knows that she's there. She just say, yeah, I know that you know I'm here, I'm not hiding. And he's like, oh, you're not going to ask me where I was? No, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Oh, really? Like, he's kind of like
he wants her.
like,
He wants her
really?
to know, doesn't he? Or not
yeah,
know,
well,
but
like,
ask.
But tell me, ask me where I'm being. I'm a mysterious guy as well.
Yeah. Shadows.
Ooh. But then, he can tell that she's sad because one of the friends died in the test. She had this option to run to the scribes. She's actually thinking about it. And then he gives her some advice as well that she, as a writer, she will be in a lot of situations that she need to just suck it up. That she will see people dying. And what he says that it's about like what you do after that, and that's how a good writer is. A good writer just keep going, regardless of who is behind. And it's something that he said, but then she focused on that's one thing, like the psychological part. But then she's small. She physically she can't do what they call the chimney, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then he gave another advice. The right thing is not the only way to pass it. Which
Find another way.
Yeah, find another way. So that's another like thing that she needs to figure out, and then she will be able to do it.
Yeah, that's another good sign of true leadership, because like you don't tell them how to do it, you tell them there is another way and you allow them to find it. But
just don't give it all the answers, you give it just the tools.
But it is like the day after, and I would like if he you'd think he could tell her. Time is pressing anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was pretty much the end of chapter 10, and that will be like the end as well of all my takeaways about this. But again, in this last chapter, you can see that Xaden is kind of like mentoring Violet, and it's like giving more help than anybody else in the squad.
Why? I've got loads of stuff for chapter 10 that I don't think you talked about, but I'll try and do it quickly because we're on, I don't know how long we're on. We've been talking for a while. So, Tynan, really cocky. I don't know, in England we say Billy Big Balls. I don't think we do. Maybe that's just something that I say when someone's really confident but they couldn't get, you couldn't get past the hanging balls.
Yeah.
This is another example where we see Violet's scribe come out because she's trying to calm herself down, and she's talking through the different types of dragon.
Yes.
So she talks about feathertails, who are rarely seen outside the veil. They don't bond because they're against violence. And oranges are unpredictable.
Yes.
Greens are loyal and have strong
smart.
Intellect.
Yeah.
So the things we know at the moment: red, quick to anger. Like that, I would definitely have a red one. I mean, I'm a redhead. I'm quite impatient sometimes. I'd definitely have a red dragon. I think I would want a blue one. But anyway, blue are like. I don't like rules. I'm not really a rule follower. I like to challenge the status quo, so I think I could have a blue one as well. Black, we don't know much about them apart from they're massive.
Yeah, they're like the biggest. It's like they're saying like the more powerful as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not many details because they're just literally two dragons, and say the last one was like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
In the timeline.
But this is there's 100 dragons willing to bond. I can't remember the exact number.
100 dragons. Yeah.
Only there's no black ones willing to bond.
There's no blue ones neither.
No blue ones. So they're all red, green, orange, and brown.
Yeah. Why is this? It's like all the dragons living together, because that's another thing. If you have a bloody 100 dragons and they're massive every single year, how many dragons are in total, like in this veil?
Yeah. But it's like
it has to be massive for like the size of each dragon, and then you had this many. And
I imagine it to be like the Highlands in Scotland.
Yeah.
Which is massive. Yeah.
And the thing as well is like the reproduction cycle. It's like it's different for each like species of dragon, because obviously you have 100 dragons, but gonna be like maybe 50 they're not red, and then various other.
Maybe they're just really common. Green and red and brown and orange are really common. Black and blue are quite rare. Or there's might be loads of blue ones. They're just not willing to bond. You don't know, because people don't see inside the veil. But yeah, we don't hear much about brown dragons, and we know that.
There were brown dragons. or
Lilith, Violet's mum's got a brown dragon.
Does she?
Yeah,
okay.
Aimsa. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, but I don't think it really matters.
Maybe from chapter 1 to 5, I think they might reference that. Yeah.
Maybe it comes later, but it's not a spoiler. It doesn't matter.
Do we know actually like how many kind of dragons are, or they're just still like coming like the Pokemons? They were 150 before, and now they're like 1,000.
What, different type, different colours?
Yeah.
You know. But I'm not saying
like
anymore.
Like a number, that's it. There's no more than this.
Yeah, there's only certain colours, and there's no more.
Okay.
And that's definitely a thing.
No way, but what about like, because there had like a lot of descriptions about the tails. So like, you had like this one, this morning star.
Yeah, so you have.
Red. So you had like a blue one that could have two different tails, maybe.
Yeah. Or what? You could have a red one, two red ones, and they'd have different tails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you have a dagger tail, a sword tail, a morning star tail, a club tail.
But then they're like kind of like subcategories of this.
Yeah, you find out a bit more about the tail thing later.
Yeah.
But
it's just the tail they change, and nothing else about the dragon.
Yeah, it's just the tail that's different, and kind of like a. I would put it in the same bracket as a signet, that it depends on that particular dragon, what they need. That was something in chapter 10 that I thought was really interesting. It was another way that Rebecca Yarros tells us stuff through Violet.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be like a thing. Well, I don't know if she will do it more often, because she's doing it when she is under pressure, when it's like in training. But I don't know if when she's in battle, when at least she might die, she will do this too.
It's her technique to calm herself down, isn't it? So, yeah, I think we'll get more of it. What else? I want to talk about the gauntlet, because like this makes me think of you. You would really like to do this.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's like the mother of all the ninja warriors.
Yeah.
So it will be really interesting to see.
Yeah, and I'm an engineer, so I want to do an engineering drawing of it to see how actually. I did draw it out because like I said before, I can't picture stuff very clearly in my head.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time. I had to read this over and over again to see what it actually was like, and then I had to do a bit of an internet search for fan art and stuff and try and work it out.
Yeah.
So you got a 15-inch spinning log that you have to run down.
Yeah.
So that's running. And then you jump onto 4 granite pillars that each get higher. So they're like steps, but there's 3 feet in between them. It's 3 feet.
Yeah.
I don't know. In metric. I don't know. I know feet because I'm in England.
I will be like meter 1 meter something, I think.
I don't know. It's quite a lot, and you have to get some elevation in that jump as well. And I imagine it's like windy. Anyway, then you go into this giant hamster ball through a hole. You have to dive in while it's turning, and then you run, and it seems like it's turning at its own pace. It's not like a hamster ball, which relies on the motion of the feet of the hamster to turn it around.
Yeah.
Then you have to leap out of that the next time the window comes, but you've got to jump over the window while it's running around, otherwise you'll just fall through the bottom. It's insane. And then there's some, they call them buoy balls, which are like giant balls. That's what Tynan can't get across. Then there's iron rails, which you have to do like hand over hand. The people who are listening can't see me doing this. Like
it's kind of like a monkey bars, but it's just
I think long ways.
Well, a long way. Yeah.
So instead of the monkey bar where you go from one bar to the next, you're like going along the bar.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 iron pillars which are shaking. So as if it's not bad enough, you have to jump onto the shaking pillars. Then you get the rolling logs, which is where Aurelie fails. Each one of those rotates a different way. So just when you feel like you're getting the hang of it,
you need to shrub straight away. Like the momentum and the direction on the feet. Yeah. And
then the chimney is the bit that I didn't get. That's the bit that I had to Google mostly.
Yeah.
So the chimney is like a half, how I now picture it.
Yeah.
Based on other people's drawings and descriptions, is like a semicircular half chimney, and you have to make yourself into an X shape and walk up the walls.
Yeah.
So using the tension in your body
it's
on
kind of
each
similar
side.
In the Ninja Warrior they have something like this, and you start to climbing, but the Ninja Warrior is like squared, so it's easier. So you push with your legs, and then you hold with your arms, and then you push again with your legs.
Yeah.
And you're going up, up, up. Then Ninja Warrior, you have this platform that is following you. So if you fall, you just fall in the platform. And then when you go to the top is when you press the button. So this is kind of like that kind of like same idea, but this is circular, which I don't know how you do that because you don't have enough grip.
It might not be circular. You can get square chimneys. It's just this is how the main, and I wish I had the drawing so I could credit it, but we can put it underneath in the show notes or in the under the video on YouTube, just to give them credit, because it honestly helped me.
Yeah.
Like get an image of what we're doing. But basically, Violet's arms and legs are too short to span the distance between the walls, whether it's square or circular. And then if you've managed to make it up to the top of that, you have a bit of a run up to a vertical ramp. So you have to get the momentum up to the top. And then if you do that, you have reached the flight field. Yeah. I thought it was worth kind of just covering that a little bit. Yeah. And then the only other thing I wanted to talk about on chapter 10 was what Xaden says at the end. He says, do you know the reason why you're still alive? You are the benchmark. I can't remember. Again, I'm really rubbish at actually remembering what he says, but you are the level at which I judge myself every single day. Every day that I don't kill you.
Yeah, I remember you say something because he wants to believe there's still like something.
He's still a decent person.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting because that's another reason why he's actually saying that, and I don't think he's a liar.
But the thing is that with all the studies here, I don't think that he is actually like a bad guy, because he's been helping like all the first years. They come in with a mark, and he knows how it is. That he knows that they're coming with this chip in the shoulder. They're like the son of the traitors, and people being like accused them. They're gonna be boiled. So he's trying to help, make sure that he's trying to build kind of like a community. Yeah. Because he said that we are just like 41 and we don't want to lose anybody else. So he really cares. And that's why I think that Violet is like one of them as well, because she's just trying to survive. She's not trying to prove herself. She's just being forced to do that. So she is basically one of them. They're in exactly the same conditions.
Yeah, I guess, though, it's like a child. If you tell them they're naughty constantly, if you're saying you're naughty, they believe they're naughty. And then there will be either that would mean they will be more naughty because they think, well, I'm just naughty, so I do this type of thing. Or they then start to believe they're naughty. So when they do a good thing, they're like, oh, am I good or not? So I feel like maybe that's what Xaden's having, where he's constantly told he's the bad guy or treated like the bad guy.
Yeah.
And this is like a bit of validation that he's not.
Yeah.
That he might need. So yeah, I thought that was worth pointing out. But that is, like, honestly, I thought we wouldn't have that much to talk about. It's even longer than last week's. I think the gauntlet will look pretty cool on the TV show. They'll be able to get that really good. But otherwise, I don't think there's that much to write home about on the translation to screen.
No, I think it's just gonna be like a badass ninja warrior, because they're gonna be like with leathers. It's gonna be like kind of like, it's like a cliff, isn't it? The place, so it's gonna be like rocky, really like kind of like medieval stuff. So I think, yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. The one there for me is like, when I think about like how you do that, is the hamster wheel. Because the other ones is like, yeah, you can do it if you practice enough and that kind of stuff. The hamster wheel, like, how on earth you do that? Because you need to be kind of like somebody works in a circus or something like that. To that kind of stuff. You could
so easily hit your head.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you constantly, boom, you calculate wrong the time. Oh.
You have to be Lara Croft or Indiana Jones to get that.
Yeah, kind of. So, no, definitely, if you pass that test, if you don't get a dragon, you get a job in a circus.
Yeah.
You have skills, definitely.
Yeah. And then, just to recap then, because last week we did how many signets did we learn about? So we've just had 4 new signets this week. We have Menders, and we've got Nolan and Brennan, who have or had the mending power. Then you had Nalan, who had the siphoning power, could siphon somebody's power away. I don't know how useful that power would be in a battle against people who didn't have some kind of magical ability, though.
And the other thing is like how he was using that specific signal to bring Brennan back to life. Like
he was trying to take Brennan's power of mending and use it to mend him. To mend Brennan. So it's like a loop, I think. So maybe if that's what the real power is, where you can take somebody's power and use it in the same form, maybe that is cool and useful. But only if maybe you can share it. So maybe siphons can. So say if Xaden,
the power, like
could they?
barrel.
Yeah, could they replicate Xaden's power of shadows? And I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe. I think we learn a bit more about siphoning, but not much, and not about nailing. Then shadow wielding, incredibly rare. There hasn't been one in hundreds of years or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the illusionist.
Professor Kaori.
Yeah. Which I do think is super cool, because you could basically distract somebody with something.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about like the quality of the projection. It's like they actually look like completely real, or it looks like a hologram there.
Well, she said it looks like a perfect miniature replica of the red dragon that's waiting in the Vale.
Yeah.
So I imagine it as like a projection.
Real.
It looks real, yeah. I mean, if it's just like a hologram and an old projector that's like flickering, that would be rubbish. But if it's
like
something,
a 3D hologram.
Yeah,
like
you could really manipulate somebody with that. You could bring back somebody who died, couldn't you? Or you could.
But just like the picture, no, it doesn't make any sounds or anything. So.
Yeah, maybe. But you could make people believe that they were in an awful situation. Yeah. You could conjure some pretty scary stuff, couldn't you?
Like an army. You think that you had a full army and that the enemy will say like they're over.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I had like a limit about like how many illusions you can create or how big they could be.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how much training you get, because we learned already that the more you have the bond with your dragon, the stronger the signal gets.
Yeah. And the more you practice, and the more
Yeah.
It's a really cool one, though. I think it's probably you don't think about it. We don't see any more of it apart from in the classroom. But I think either in a intelligence situation where you're trying to get information out of somebody, you could scare them, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Which is awful. Or you can make them trust you by. I don't think there's any sound, is there? But yeah.
Maybe you can do something like you just been thinking about like one of their colleagues are like giving information and make believe just from the distance, so you can't even hear anything. You just look. He's telling us everything about you. You want to say something about the information that we need, or because we can kill you if he say everything and you don't say anything. Something like that. But it's interesting. Yes.
So they're the 4 new signets. Add them to the ones that we did last week. We should make a list. Because it's quite hard to remember all of them. And then hand-to-hand sparring on the mat, whatever we're calling this section of the podcast. We do need to come up with some names. And some like fancy music, or just a punching sound. This one. Now we've...
Bell, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. In the blue corner. I was thinking, now we've seen Xaden on the mat, not like properly, but I wonder he would win out of Mira and Xaden. No signets allowed, but you don't yet know what Mira's signet is. So
no, if I do like physically, I was thinking in the beginning when you mention it, the Xaden will just win like easily. But I was thinking as well that they're really similar, because Mira went to the school as a Soren girl, so everyone was like after her, so for her it was really hard. Xaden went as one of the first children of the traitors, so he was bullied as well, and he had it like really bad as well. The thing is that he's a third year, but Mira is a lieutenant, so she has
extra years of experience.
Exactly. But within the description, they say as well that he's like really like tall, really muscular, really like somebody that you don't want to mess around. When Mira is just like a little bit taller than Violet, she is like slim as well.
Well, she's got a big muscly bum. She could just sit on you.
Yeah, a lot of hours sitting in the dragon as well.
Her thighs.
Yeah. So I would say that I will give it to Xaden, but I don't think Mira will be easy to defeat. That he actually has to like work properly on her, and he will win maybe because he's taller and stronger. But he's like strategy as well. Mira, I don't have that many information because she's been in this book just in chapter 1, a little bit in the other ones. But she's kind of like really impulsive. Doesn't look like there's a kind of person that like waiting, think about it, and then analyze. Yeah, she just like she does what she feels. Like when she want to turn to the mom, Violet should be alright and that kind of stuff. When Xaden, he looked like he like really like patient. That he is not like somebody that can get overwhelmed really easily in the situation that like really stressing. Like when Violet throwing the daggers, he didn't even think or anything. He just like took as you miss.
Yeah.
You shit.
I think it would be so easily, like evenly matched. I don't think it's really hard to call, but it's not a hands down win for either of them. I think you're right that Mira's a bit impulsive, and I think she probably would end up using her signet. I think she would want to win at all costs. You know that she doesn't care about cheating because she
surviving. It's the mantra that she has.
Yeah, exactly. She kept Violet's book of poisons, so she knew she was going to poison people.
Yeah.
She gave her dragon armor, so I think Mira would probably cheat. Or cheat. There is no cheating. But on the mat, you're not supposed to use your signet. But I think Xaden probably has more control than Mira.
Yeah.
And I think she would use her signet. So I think she might win, but just because she would find a way of cheating. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she might have her own dragon scale armor, and I think she's had to find, like you say, like she was a Soren girl, she's had to find a way to survive. She's really good at hand to hand as well, because
she had a lot of experience. And
Brennan says that in the book. He says, Mira, you'll be good, you're a Soren girl, but you can find this list somewhere else. Yeah,
no, like I said, I would think that Xaden, if I like with no sickness and it's just physically and strategy, he will win, but not like easily. Mira will put like a really good fight, but I think he will just win because he will like have more strength than her.
I think you're right. Like I think he would win in a fair game. But I don't think Mira would play fair.
Yeah.
He wouldn't necessarily either, but it would be a long match. Like, you could see it going dark outside and people just getting bored and going for dinner and stuff because they're still fighting.
Yeah.
But, like, neither of them wants to lose, so neither of them will give
I
up.
still don't know what's Mira's signet, but
No.
I don't know if it's going to be as cool as Shadow Wielder, or if it's going to be as dangerous as that.
It's really cool. It is really cool.
Yeah.
And I think she would... I'm not saying that I think it's stronger than shadow wielding, but I think
But it's
she
still
would do
like-
it first,
Yeah.
whatever her signet is. Well, obviously I know what it is, but
Yeah.
she would do it first, and then he would lose.
Yeah. So that's how it ends. If I failed, Xaden will win. If I just like everything,
No, I think Mira
Mira would cheat,
would win because
yeah.
she would cheat. Like, if I put the two of them together, she would just want to win. So I don't think
then she would
he
go
could
whatever.
probably protect. Yeah. Ugh, I don't know. I can't speak openly because you don't know the signet.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm
fine.
changing my mind. I honestly think it would draw. I think they would both like shake hands at the end. I don't think either of them would be stronger than the other and yet have to yield. I think they would just be like get bored because they couldn't beat each other.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think if, regardless of like the skills or the technique they can have, if it's like on a moment when it's like pure strength and he is like, I don't know, 20, 30 kilos heavier, stronger than her, it will go to that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because he like, in the description, he's a really tall guy. He's really muscly,
Yeah.
so...
We'll put the match on Instagram at Faithfully Fantasy, and people can comment below
Yeah, and see
who
what
wins.
people say.
But you might not be able to read them because there might be spoilers about signets. So I'm gonna have to post
So
them.
I need to trust you. That you'll tell
Yeah,
me
I'll
what
tell
other
you.
people say.
I'll do a score tally, and if we could ask you to try not to give spoilers to JC, because we're trying to do, and saying that I'm doing my best, but I'm not succeeding 100%.
I think the best I can do is just not read the comments about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me know what happened. Yeah.
But on that note, please, we'd love to hear from you on Instagram, on TikTok, at Faithfully Fantasy, and those who are listening on a podcast app. Please give us a review and a rating. That will really help us try and reach as many scribes, riders, other people who are into Fourth Wing as much as I am.
Yes.
And
Also,
yeah, those.
Also,
Sorry.
we have the website faithfullyfantasy.com where you can find all the podcasts that we have. We're trying to grow the website as well with new things as well, so just keep an eye because we constantly want to improve engaging the people with all the stuff that we're doing. So just remember faithfullyfantasy.com.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it for Faithfully Fantasy this week. We will be back next week with chapters 11 to 15.
Yes.
It's getting really good. I think by chapter 15 you'll be addicted and you'll be desperate to film another one every week. Although it's quite a lot of work, like you have to read and write at the same time. Hopefully that's not ruining your enjoyment of the book. Anyway, thanks so much if you've made it to the end of this mammoth episode. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much and see you next week.
Next week on Faithfully Fantasy.
Today, we had a really exciting episode.
Yeah, finally.
And these chapters, there was my first moment when I say yes. The part I was struggling. The average of the dragon is 25 feet. Wow.
Were you like, whose feet? My feet? Sean's feet?
Yes, a bit different.
I've got
between
small feet. I think she
big.
wanted to just make them terrifying.
Yeah.
But they'd have been terrifying at 16 feet as well, wouldn't
Exactly.
they?
I was wondering as well, can the dragons like hear the thoughts of the cadets before bonding?
Try before you buy. Dip in and have a look around, see what kind of person you are.